Todd and I'm the founder of Ashaya Yoga. Welcome to Asana Spotlight. And today's pose is an inversion, and I'll talk more about that in just a moment. I'll ask you to share this experience with your friends. It's the way we spread yoga and have people, have an awakening through the practice. So I hope you're able to share this with some of your friends. Yoga is the path of empowerment. We're here to really learn how to stand strong in who we are. And it takes strength to follow your heart and more so to just stand up in the face of challenges. And so often when we're faced with challenge, what we do is we go silent, we shrink, and we choose not to really sort of stand in the challenge when the current gets really strong, especially when you're facing with a disagreement with someone or expressing an opinion that's not sort of publicly accepted. And so it does take strength to not shrink, to really be yourself and to be unique. And also the strength to be yourself, but also be open to feedback about who you are, who you're being, and how that's affecting the world and other people. So strength really comes in two ways. This kind of powerful capacity to be yourself no matter what, but also to soften the heart and actually see how you're being perceived by other people so that we don't get like too overbearing. And we need feedback from our environment and reflections from others to help us in case we don't see ourselves clearly. So I remember in like one of the biggest decisions for me in my life path in the journey of my heart was to choose to come into yoga from the music profession. So when I was younger, I was a professional jazz artist, jazz musician, and when I came to yoga, it was like every cell in my being said, yes, go into yoga. This is what I'm meant to do. And, I rocked a few boats because I had to cancel a fellowship that I had already set up and agreed to. It's like I had to go against my word. So, okay, there's a strength in staying true to yourself, but there's also a strength that life changes, circumstances change, and how do you stay empowered through the ups and downs of life? So I say you need to be willing to rock a few boats to stand in the strength and empower yourself for living the life that you are entitled to live. No one on the outside needs to dictate who you are and what you need to do with your life. And that's part of this whole journey of the heart. What does your heart most deeply desire? What value is that to you, and what are you prepared to do about it? And then what happens when we go silent, when we do shrink and we don't stand in the strength of who we are, we tend to complain a lot, and then we complain and blame, and we get disempowered. We put the problem outside of ourselves. And really, then we get unhappy. I think the real key to happiness is to align with who you truly are and to stand in the strength to empower yourself to have your own views and chart your own journey. We're all navigating our journey, and who really knows like where the heck we're all going. But I know for a fact that yoga puts you in touch with the universal energy, with grace, with this power of this sort of the compass of the heart, that when you listen to your heart, you will be guided more and more towards happiness. And happiness is standing in the strength, having the strength to stand in who you are. So this pose, I call it L at the wall. So it's an inversion. It develops strength. The official name is Ardha Adho Mukha Vrksasana. So Ardha is half, Adho is downward, Mukha is facing. So half downward facing tree. Vriksha is tree. Half downward facing tree pose. So it's the handstand, but it's only half the handstand. We'll be using the wall. We'll be making the shape of an L, the capital letter L at the wall. So it's just easier to say L at the wall because your body will take on the shape of this square. Now, a couple precautions. There are dangers to this pose, as there are in any exercise activity. But this one in particular, high blood pressure, it's contraindicated. glaucoma, detached retina. These are the three things. And then menstruation, especially the first couple of days when the flow is heavy, we want to avoid turning the whole body upside down, because that's a time when energy needs to flow down and out, and you need to honor that. But I always say, everyone's a little bit different, so just listen to your body. But these are the typical contraindications and precautions for this pose. Also, I'll show you some modifications in case you have carpal tunnel syndrome or tendonitis in your wrist. You can't really weight bear with your wrist in extension like this. So we're going to learn how to do L at the wall on the forearms, which is a little harder in some ways and a little bit easier in other ways. All right. Well, let's get started. We'll do a couple of warm-ups. So meet me at the top of your mat. Come up to standing. Come stand with your feet hip distance apart and parallel, palms in front. Stand tall. Hug in and draw into the strength of your own heart. And hug your muscles to the bones. Empower yourself to be yourself, to have your views, and to not shrink, to not silence yourself, to speak up. Thighs back, tailbone in. Lift your heart. Inhale, reach your arms. And then exhale and fold. And breathe. Bend your knees a little bit. Isometrically pull your heels backwards. Bow, look into your heart, and then empower yourself. Part of empowerment is the willingness to look inside. And then, of course, to follow your heart, follow your dreams, and also admit faults. Be open to the reflection from others. Inhale, lift your heart halfway. And exhale with empowerment, bow. Inhale, open to the bigger energy, and then exhale. Use that to go deeper inside. Inhale, heart halfway forward. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog pose. Alternately, press your heels, bend the opposite knee, go back and forth. On the straight leg, reach back at the base of the shins. So you push base of shin back. Awesome. Now bend your knees, come all the way down and look at your hands. We're going to start with good hand position and hand alignment. So the center of your wrist should be as wide as your outer shoulders. So make that adjustment. And then the wrist creases should face straight ahead. If you have some tendonitis or your wrist is injured, therapeutically, you can turn your hands out a little bit more. And I'll remind you when we go up into the L position there. But if you're not experiencing pain, then wrist creases straight ahead, fingers spread evenly, and then claw the pads underneath the nails. Those go down. And then pull from pads to the roots of your fingers. The roots are where the fingers join the hand. And then focus on the four corners of your hand, index finger knuckle. Pull back to the heel of the thumb. And then the little finger knuckle and pull back to the outer heel of the hand. And when you claw your hands like this, it's called Hasta Bandha, the hand lock. And even though you work hard with the pads and the roots, this lifts the arches in the middle of the hand. So you can feel a little bit of space there. Now pull up from your hands all the way up into your heart. Head the arm bones go back. And then, keeping all that strength, soften your heart. It's part of the empowerment is there's a strength in softness. Remember, vulnerability is always sourced in courage. And you melt the heart there to soften. But do not bend your elbows. So squeeze your palms toward each other. Arms are super strong. Stand in who you are meant to be. Okay. Keeping your hands and arms just like that and the heart soft. Walk your knees back an inch or two. Go up into downward dog. Frame your ears between your arms. And then from your heart, just push through your hands. And from your heart, root back through the base of your shins. And bend your knees, lift your sitting bones up so you get a low back curve. Inhale your right leg up. Exhale, lunge forward. Bring your left knee down, right hand onto the right leg, and twist, right shoulder back. Touch the floor, lift your back leg, twist again. This time lift your right arm all the way up, lean back a little bit. Take your right arm over your ear, explore the stretch more. And then exhale down, step back, downward facing dog pose. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, lunge, and the right knee comes down. Rest a little. Left hand on the left leg, left shoulder back. Turn your heart toward the sky. And breathe. Exhale, hand on the floor. Now lift your right knee up and take your left arm up and twist even more. You can have your right hand on eagle talons or palm all the way down, but do Hasta Bandha in the right hand. Arch back a bit and then left arm over your ear. Breathe, enjoy the stretch. Happiness comes when you align with universal and you align with your own heart. Then hug in with strength. Step back, plank. Bring your knees down, melt the heart. Slowly come to chaturanga, knees down. Head of the arm bones at the level of the elbows. Hold. Practice your hand position. Claw, pads, and roots. Pull in to empower yourself. Exhale down. Inhale now. Stretch your toes straight back. Hug your legs to the middle. Pull your palms isometrically backwards and rise up into cobra pose. Focus more on your hands and just pull isometrically backwards. The head of the arm bones go back. And as you pull your palms backwards, the shoulder blades should squeeze and hug the back of the heart. Empower yourself. Life has your back. We can always fall back on grace. Lift your throat, take your palate back, and the back of the skull up. But you have to do your part. It's always a dance between your own individual will and universal will. So at least empower yourself to do your part. Exhale, extend your heart forward on the way down. And then come into puppy dog pose. So bend your knees, keep your hands where they are, and just pull the palms isometrically backwards. Lift up through your armpits. Stretch your hips toward your heels. And breathe. Now, instead of collapsing the armpits down, which we typically do, and forearms are on the floor, lift your elbows, forearms off the floor, and rise up. Lift your armpits up, but then soften the heart down. With self-empowerment, armpits rise. With sensitivity, heart can melt. Come up into downward dog. Exhale, right leg forward. Come up, hands to hips. Bend your right knee so it's directly over the ankle. And then lift your back thigh a little higher. Left thigh comes up. Tailbone in. Take the outer right hip crease back. Palms straight out in front. Just put your palms together. Lift your side ribs and then pull the head of your arm bones back. We want to try to get them to go back about 2 or 3 inches. Hold. And then separate your hands shoulder distance apart and stretch your arms up. Good. From your pelvis, push your left heel backwards and right shin forward. Take the pose of the warrior and draw in with strength and empowerment. Exhale, sweep your arms out to the side. Come on down. Step back, downward dog pose. Again, bend your knees, low back curve. Exhale, left foot forward. Charge your legs with strength. Inhale, come up, hands to hips. Right thigh up. Left outer hip crease back. Palms straight out in front, palms together. And Pull your legs, so you scissor the legs toward each other. With empowerment, lift your armpits, head of the arm bones back, and then stretch your arms up. And breathe. From your pelvic core, push your right heel back and your left shin forward even more. Stay connected to your core. Pull in from periphery to the pelvis. And there develop a strength, self-empowerment, and from an empowered place, then reach out. Reach up. Exhale. Sweep your arms out to the side. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga, knees off the floor if you can. Head of the arm bones back. Use your hand position to claw. Exhale down. Inhale, cobra. Now, melt the chest forward. Melt the upper back. Arm bones go back. Come down a little bit. Go forward more. And then take your ears back. Exhale, downward facing. Step by step, walk in. Root through your feet. Inhale, arms out to the side and all the way up. And exhale. Release. Palms in front of the heart. Pause for a moment. Just feel your body. Nice and warmed up. Very good. Exhale. Release. Okay, bring your mat close to a wall or a door. And we'll start. Let me show you the modification first. So if you're not able to weight bear on your wrists, then come down, feet at the wall, and you interlace your fingers and bring your forearms down. So this position, you try to keep your elbows, so like headstand position, but it's headless headstand because your head doesn't touch the floor. And just be sure that your elbows don't splay any further than the shoulders. So you keep them at shoulder distance. And then here, you're going to root through the wrist. Keep the wrist perpendicular and root down. All the other actions are the same. Okay, if you're going to come into L at the wall on your hands, then do tabletop position and place your hands on the mat. To make it a little bit easier, walk your hands 1 to 2 inches forward. So instead of an exact 90-degree angle, we'll have a little bit of an obtuse angle. And, you know, later on when you get stronger in this pose, then you can tighten it up and bring your hands back so they're exactly under the shoulders. But that it requires a little more strength and a little more flexibility. Claw pads and roots, check your wrist creases, and pull up with empowerment from the palms into the heart. And then sensitivity, melt the heart. Be open to the reflection back, and we're open to change, open to see ourselves. Okay, the drishti, that's the gaze. Where does your drishti go? You want to keep your gaze on a point right between the thumbs, in the center between the thumbs the whole time. So find your gaze and then lift your knees off the floor. Bring your heels at a 45-degree angle on the wall. Try to lift your sitting bones a little higher. So this is sort of like a crowded dog pose. All right, now pull your armpits up away from the wall, but lean your heart toward the wall. And that's an action we'll do, especially when we go up, when we're under pressure. Gaze between the thumbs. Bend a knee, push one foot at the wall, and you're going to walk halfway, only halfway up, only at the level of your hips. And then pause, bend your knees. With strength, hug your shoulders. Hollow your armpits back towards the back plane of your body, away from the wall, but lean your heart toward the wall. Continue to pull up from your hands into your heart. Try not to collapse or crash down into your hands. And then gaze right between your thumbs. All right, lift your inner thighs up, keep your feet parallel, and then pull your tailbone in
And try to stretch your legs straighter. Pull your navel in, waistline back, pull your ribs in. This is the pose. Ardha Adho Mukha Vrksasana, right here. Good, you have a low back curve, but pull your tailbone in. Come down at any time if you get tired. Exhale, everybody down. And breathe. Take a moment to equalize. So you can feel a lot of pressure in the head, and this really gets your blood flowing. You might even get a little bit aerobic. There are some variations. Why don't we do one variation? If this was fairly easy for you, join me in the next version. If not, then how about if you just practice and do it one more time to the level that you can. Remember, if your wrists are sore, come down onto your forearms. Place your hands. Remember to bring the hands slightly forward of the shoulders. Look at your wrist creases straight ahead. Claw pads and roots with this longing to empower. And stand strong in who the universe has made you to be. And then heart sensitive, soft. Very good. Just really melt down through the upper thoracic. Okay. But without collapsing elbows. Your elbows stay strong. So we get really good at doing two opposite things at the same time. The arms are super strong, heart soft, vulnerable, which is another kind of strength. Exhale, downward dog. Where's your gaze? Put it between the thumbs, and then bend a knee and walk up. Feet parallel. Okay, armpits away from the wall, heart toward the wall. Maintain that. Hug your shoulder blades with empowerment deep into the back of the heart. Push your left foot into the wall so you're stable, and see if you can lift your right leg all the way up. And bring the right leg, ankles vertical above the hip. Pull the top of the thigh back. Okay? Right near where the hip is, thighs back. But pull your tailbone in as well. And then from your heart, push your hands. From your heart, push your right foot up. Good. Right leg to the wall. Inhale, left leg up. Push your right foot into the wall. Armpits back, heart toward the wall. Gaze, look at your thumbs. And left ankle directly above the left shoulder. Then take your left thigh back, tailbone in. And from your heart, push your hands from your heart. Just express with joy all the way up through the left foot. Okay, awesome. Bring your left foot back to the wall carefully. Come down silently. And release. Wonderful. Feel the energy in your body. You should have just sort of like a light sweat all over your skin. This is really, really healthy, really good to do, as long as you take the precautions that I mentioned. So we never want to overdo it and never want to strain. That puts us 2 steps back. So it happens. So take a seat, close your eyes. Bring your palms together in front of your heart and draw into your heart. Ask yourself, what do you need to empower yourself with today? Is it to speak your truth? Is it to stand strong in who you are? Is there a decision you need to make today to empower yourself, to align more deeply with your purpose, with your heart? Tune into that. Draw on the strength of the universe to give you the courage to speak, to take another step closer to your heart, and to express your unique individual nature and to bring your gifts forward in this world. I know for a fact when you offer your gifts, joy follows. Let's take a deep breath now and chant Om.
Namaste. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.